When it comes to smartphones from Poco, we know that apart from a couple of them, almost every phone is a rebrand of an already existing Redmi device. Now, there have been some phones that were not exactly rebrands, such as the Poco X3 Pro of last year. That phone had the Snapdragon 860 SoC and it launched at an extremely aggressive price. Now the company is going to launch the Poco X4 Pro, and unlike the last year's X3 Pro, it is not going to be a performance powerhouse. Instead, it is more of a balanced mid-range 5G phone. This time, the Poco X4 Pro is a rebrand of the Redmi Note 11 Pro 5G. Not the one available in China, but the one that is available in the global market. Today, the hands-on images of the Poco X4 Pro were shared by a German website named SmartDroid. So as we can see, the Poco X4 Pro has that signature Poco design on the back, where the camera module goes all the way to the other side, and that also has the Poco branding in it. It looks a lot like the camera module design of the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra, except that the X4 Pro does not have a second screen in this camera module. Speaking of the other design details, there is a glass back and the sides are flat. The fingerprint scanner is also there on the side. The phone has a stereo speaker setup where the second speaker is on the top. And finally on the front there is a flat screen with a hole punch in the center. Speaking of the specifications, the Poco X4 Pro is no different than the Redmi Note 11 Pro 5G. So it has the same 6.7-inch 120Hz AMOLED with a Full HD Plus resolution. There is Snapdragon 695 5G SoC with UFS 2.2 storage, a 5000 mAh battery and 67 watt fast charging. The 108 megapixel Samsung HM2 sensor on the back is paired with an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel macro camera. And finally, the phone runs on MIUI 13 out of the box, but most likely it is Android 11 and not Android 12. Now, one thing to note is there are many sources according to which the Poco X4 Pro will not have a 108 megapixel camera sensor for the Indian market. Instead, in India it will have a 64 megapixel camera sensor. If you compare the Poco X4 Pro to the Poco X3 Pro, then definitely in terms of performance, the X4 Pro is nowhere near the X3 Pro. I mean, we are talking about Snapdragon 860 versus Snapdragon 695 and UFS 3.1 versus UFS 2.2. But if you compare other specifications, then we see that the Poco X4 Pro is more balanced phone than the Poco X3 Pro. It is not just a performance-centric phone. We are talking about a 120Hz AMOLED instead of a 120Hz LCD, glass back instead of a plastic back, 67 watt fast charging instead of 33 watt, better cameras and also 5G support. As of now, Poco has not yet announced when the X4 Pro is launching, but the announcement should happen pretty soon. What do you think of the Poco X4 Pro? Do let me know via the comment section below, and as always, I will catch you in the next one.